Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're stepping away quite a bit from the usual headlines, aren't we?
We really are. We're going way back.
Yeah, we're diving into something, well, truly timeless. It's an ancient story, but one that feels like a masterclass in character, loyalty, and, frankly, moral courage.
It challenges so many modern ideas about ambition, about leadership, about what success even means.
Totally. So, the focus of this deep dive comes straight from the Ramayana, the ancient Indian epic. We're zeroing in on one character, Prince Bharat.
Right. And his story presents this almost impossible ethical crossroads. Imagine, you're handed a kingdom, absolute power.
The dream scenario for some, maybe.
Maybe. But here's the catch. It only happened because your beloved brother is unfairly exiled and your father literally dies from the grief of it all.
Wow. Okay, so our mission today is really to unpack that decision Bharat faces. Power lands right in your lap, but it's poisoned, isn't it? It's born from injustice.
Exactly. Do you take it? Do you find a way to rationalize it? Say, well, it's happened now, might as well make the best of it?
Or do you do something radical? Do you walk away from arguably the biggest prize imaginable because it's just wrong?
It's more than just walking away, too. It's about actively upholding integrity, even at immense personal cost.
It feels revolutionary because, let's be honest, most systems today, they kind of reward the person who grabs the power, don't they? How it was acquired.
Well, that often gets forgotten.
That's a very sharp point. Bharat's choice flips that script entirely. He basically demonstrates that the only power really worth having is power that's, legitimate, earned through justice, not dirty tricks or maneuvering.
So let's set the scene. Where does this incredible drama unfold?
We begin in Ayodhya, a kingdom described in the sources as like the pinnacle of prosperity, order, stability, everything's going well.
And ruling this kingdom is King Dasharatha, a respected figure, powerful.
Very much so. And crucially, he has 4 sons for the future.
Okay, let's break them down. Who are they?
First, there's Rama, the eldest. He's the golden child, basically. Universally loved, admired, the clear heir apparent, destined for the throne. Right, the perfect prince.
Then you have Bharat, who is the focus of our story today. He's known for his nobility, his sense of duty, and especially his deep devotion to his older brother, Rama.
That relationship seems key.
It's absolutely central. Then there are the other 2 brothers, Lakshmana and Shatrugna, also part of the royal family, loyal in their own ways.
So what's the mood in Ayodhya as our story opens?
It's electric. Pure joy and anticipation. The entire kingdom is gearing up for Rama's coronation.
So it's not just a political transition, it's like a national celebration.
Exactly, a moment everyone's been waiting for. The succession is planned, peaceful, widely supported. Everything looks perfect.
And perfect moments in epic stories, they rarely last.
They certainly don't here. It's precisely at this peak, this moment of maximum hope and celebration, that everything unravels. And it's engineered by Queen Kaikeyi.
Bharat's mother.
Bharat's own mother.
Yes.
And the consequences of what she does next, well, they echo through the entire epic and beyond.
Okay, so what does she do? How does she derail this perfectly planned coronation? This involves a promise, right? An old debt.
Yes, exactly. This is where the concept of the unbreakable vow becomes critical. You have to understand the weight of a king's word back then.
It wasn't just policy.
Not at all. Years before, Queen Kaikeyi had actually saved King Dasharatha's life in a major battle. He was incredibly grateful.
Naturally.
And in that moment of gratitude, he granted her 2 wishes. Anything she wanted. Think of it as like a blank check, a royal IOU she could cash in any time.
Which she kept.
In her back pocket, so to speak.
Yeah.
She hadn't used them. Until now.
And the king's word, in this context, how binding was it?
Absolutely binding.
Yeah.
Sacred, even. It wasn't like a modern political promise you could maybe spin your way out of later.
No lawyers involved.
Yeah, no. In their worldview, the king's integrity, his adherence to his word, was directly linked to Dharma, the cosmic order, the moral fabric of the universe.
So breaking a promise wasn't just bad PR, it was
Catastrophic. It could invite chaos, undermine the kingdom's spiritual foundation, bring ruin. His word was his bond, literally.
Okay, so Kaikeyi has these 2 wishes, and the timing she chooses now.
With chilling precision, just hours, literally hours, before Rama is supposed to be crowned king, right when the kingdom is at its happiest, when the king is arguably most vulnerable because he's overjoyed about Rama.
That's brutal. So what does she ask for? What are the 2 wishes?
They are devastatingly effective. Wish number 1, make her son Bharat the king instead of Rama.
Wow, okay. The direct power grab. Obvious but effective.
But it's the second wish that's the real killer blow. the dagger to the heart, as the sources imply. She demands that Rama, the rightful heir of the beloved prince, be sent into exile.
Exile.
For how long? For 14 years. A huge chunk of his life spent away from the kingdom, living in the wilderness.
14 years, my goodness. So the king is trapped.
Completely trapped. He's forced into an impossible choice. On one hand, his beloved son, Rama, his future, the kingdom's future. On the other hand, his sacred word, his honor, the very stability of the realm which rests on that honor.
The sources describe his reaction.
Vividly, pure agony, devastation. He pleads with Kaikeyi, apparently, but she holds firm. He had given his word, the vow was made.
And in their system that means.
It has to be fulfilled, no matter the cost.
So he has to tell Rama.
He does. With a completely broken heart, a shattered spirit, the injustice of it, the betrayal by Kaikeyi, whom he loved, the ruin of his plans, it's too much.
And the consequence for the king himself.
The sources are stark, he can't bear the weight of it, the grief is overwhelming. King Dasharatha dies.
He dies, not in battle, not of old age, but of grief.
Yes, dies of a broken heart, essentially.
Yeah.
The sheer sorrow and the weight of the broken dharma caused by fulfilling that terrible promise literally kills him.
Let's just pause on that. The king dies of grief. That tells you everything about the perceived weight of that promise, doesn't it? It wasn't just a political blunder.
It was a moral catastrophe, a cosmic failure almost. And it cost him his life. So the crisis begins immediately. The throne is empty, Ayodhya is in mourning, and the whole situation is drenched in injustice and sorrow.
The legitimacy of everything is now in question.
Absolutely. And that brings us to Rama's reaction, which honestly, by today's standards, is just mind-boggling.
Right. Because if this happened today, a disputed succession, a beloved figure exiled due to, let's face it, manipulation.
You'd have lawsuits immediately, PR wars, cable news going 24/7, protests in the streets, maybe even worse.
For Rama.
No rebellion, no legal challenges, no angry speeches. He doesn't even seem to argue much.
Why? How could he just accept it?
His entire response is dictated by one principle. His father gave his word, and that word, however painful its consequences, must be honored to protect his father's integrity, even in death.
So he sees the exile not as a punishment from Kaikeyi,
but as a duty he must undertake to preserve Dharma, to uphold his father's honor, which, by extension, upholds the order of the kingdom itself. It's an incredible sense of responsibility.
So what does he actually do?
He prepares to leave, immediately. Takes off his royal silks, the symbols of his status, puts on simple clothes made of bark, the attire of an ascetic, someone renouncing the world.
Just like that, walks away from the throne.
Walks away from the throne, the palace, the power, everything. Fully accepts the 14-year sentence. Because for him, clearly, the family's honor, his father's word, was worth far more than any crown or kingdom.
That level of principle is stunning. Does it affect others?
Instantly. That standard he sets radiates outwards. His wife, Sita, she's not obligated to go. She could have stayed in the palace, safe and comfortable.
But she doesn't.
No, she refuses. She insists on going with him into exile, sharing his hardship. It's an act of profound loyalty and shared commitment to that principle.
And his brothers.
His devoted younger brother, Lakshmana, same thing. He immediately steps forward. If you're going, I'm coming with you. Unwavering loyalty. They choose the path of integrity, even knowing it means extreme difficulty over staying behind in comfort, but under a cloud of injustice.
So Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana head into exile. Meanwhile, where is Bharat in all this?
The man the kingdom was supposedly secured for.
This is such a crucial detail. Bharat is completely unaware of everything that's happening. He has this massive blind spot during the entire crisis.
How is that possible?
He was away, visiting his maternal grandfather in another kingdom, completely cut off from the political machinations back in Ayodhya.
So the whole plot, Kaikeyi's demands, Rama's exile, the king's death, it all happens while he's gone.
Exactly. And this absence is vital for understanding his reaction later. He had no part in it, he didn't ask for it, didn't know about it.
So he returns. What does he expect to find?
He's probably expecting, the final preparations for Rama's coronation. The city buzzing with excitement, celebration.
Instead, utter silence, shock, mourning. He finds his father dead. His beloved brother, Rama, gone, vanished into exile. The source material really stresses the whiplash, the brutal shock of this homecoming.
He walks into a nightmare.
A nightmare orchestrated, he soon learns, by his own mother in his name. And that knowledge is what ignites his response.
Which isn't relief or quiet acceptance.
Oh, absolutely not. It's not confusion, it's not political calculation, it's pure white-hot fury, moral outrage.
He confronts his mother, Kaikeyi.
Yes, And the sources depict this confrontation as incredibly intense, devastating. A son holding his mother accountable in the starkest terms.
He doesn't mince words.
Not at all. He completely rejects her justifications.
Yeah.
She apparently tries to frame it, I did this for you, my son, to make you king, keep you safe.
The maternal ambition defense.
Right. But Bharat sees right through it. He sees only the wreckage, the cost. His accusation is apparently scathing, something like, how could you possibly do this? I never wanted this throne. Rama is the rightful king. You've destroyed our father. You've torn our family apart. You've stained the honor of Ayodhya.
He's basically rejecting the very premise of her actions.
Completely. This is where we see the difference between having something legally, maybe the throne is technically vacant, offered to him, and having it morally. He refuses to be complicit.
Even though the injustice directly benefits him, even though it was his own mother.
That's the core of it. He essentially shouts, I refuse this kingdom. I don't want power that's built on my brother's suffering and my father's death.
That's a powerful moment. It gives us our first big takeaway, doesn't it? About loyalty.
Absolutely. Let's call it ethical loyalty. Bharat clearly loved his mother, but that love didn't translate into blind support or complicity. He drew a moral line.
He called out the wrong even when it was family. He refused to accept the benefit, the poison fruit, as he put it earlier.
Exactly. Think about that in a modern context, like a workplace. Maybe someone else gets unfairly pushed aside, and you get the promotion instead. Or a senior leader you admire pushes through a policy you know is flawed, but it helps your department.
Do you just take the win, keep quiet, rationalize it? Well, the decision's made.
Or do you do the Bharat thing? Do you actively reject the benefit? Do you call out the injustice, even if it costs you? Even if it means confronting someone powerful or someone you're loyal to?
Bharat chooses the harder path. He sees that accepting the crown, even passively, would make him morally responsible for his mother's actions.
He states unequivocally, this crown belongs to Rama, not me. It's an active, forceful rejection of power derived from wrong.
And this rejection isn't the end of his actions, is it? He doesn't just say no thanks and fade away.
No, far from it.
Yeah.
His next move is equally extraordinary. He decides to act.
What does he do?
He musters the army, gathers the troops, the chariots, the elephants, the full military might of Ayodhya.
Okay, wait. He gathers the army after refusing the throne. What's the plan here? Is he going to, consolidate power, fight potential rivals?
That's what you might expect, isn't it? But no, the intent here is absolutely crucial and completely different.
Okay.
He gathers the army not to fight, not to seize anything, not to stage some kind of counter coup. His sole purpose, stated clearly, is we are going to find Rama and we are bringing him back.
So it's an expedition, not a military campaign.
Exactly, an expedition driven by devotion, by repentance, by a deep desire to rectify the wrong that was done, a wrong he feels responsible for, even though he didn't commit it. He's leading an army to surrender power, not seize it.
Imagine seeing that, a massive army marching into the wilderness, not looking for enemies, but looking for their rightful king to beg him to return.
It must have been an incredible sight. And eventually they do find Rama, deep in the forest, living this simple, austere life of a hermit, along with Sita and Lakshmana.
What happens at that reunion? It must have been emotional.
Intensely emotional. The sources describe Bharat literally throwing himself at Rama's feet, weeping, pleading with him.
What does he say?
He lays it all out. The kingdom is suffering without you. Ayodhya needs its true king. Our father is dead because of this injustice. Please come back. Take your rightful place. I never wanted this.
He's essentially handing the kingdom back right there in the forest.
Offering him the crown, free and clear.
Yes. But Rama is bound by that same principle of honor that led him into exile in the first place.
He can't just break the vow now, even though the king who made it is dead.
Apparently not. His father gave his word. The 14 years were decreed as part of upholding that word. For Rama, leaving exile early, even for the good of the kingdom, would be a betrayal of that foundational promise. It would undermine the very dharma he sought to protect.
So he refuses.
He stands firm, gently but firmly. He tells her, I must complete the 14 years. It's a matter of honor, brother. I cannot break the vow.
Wow. Okay, so now we have a real impasse. The constitutional crisis, ancient style, pretty much. Rama won't return because of his vow. Bharat refuses to rule because he believes Rama is the only rightful king. Ayodhya is a major kingdom. It can't just drift rudderless for 14 years.
Right. Someone needs to govern. Someone needs to make decisions, lead the army, manage the treasury. How do they solve this?
This is where Bharat comes up with a truly brilliant solution. It's both practical and deeply symbolic.
What does he do?
When it's absolutely clear Rama will not return physically, Bharat makes a very specific, unusual request. He says, if you will not come, then give me your sandals.
His sandals, like his shoes. Why?
It sounds strange at first, right? But it's a masterstroke. This isn't about sentimentality like keeping a souvenir. It's a profound political and symbolic act.
Explain that. How do sandals solve a governing crisis?
Bharat takes Rama's sandals back to Ayodhya. He doesn't put them in a closet. He carries them reverently into the throne room, and he places the sandals on the throne itself.
The sandals go on the seat of power.
Exactly. And by doing this, he makes a powerful public statement. The sandals represent Rama's feet, Rama's presence, Rama's authority.
Ah, so he's saying
Rama is still the king. His authority resides here, on this throne, symbolized by his sandals. I am not the king. I will govern, yes, but only as his representative, his servant, ruling under his authority until he returns.
That's incredibly clever. It solves the legitimacy problem.
Instantly. He can now run the kingdom, make decisions, maintain order, because he's operating with delegated authority, symbolically granted by the true king. But he simultaneously ensures he never occupies the throne himself. He's the regent, the steward, the caretaker, never the monarch.
He creates this structure of caretaker governance. It respects Rama's exile, honors his own refusal to take the crown, but still allows the kingdom to function.
Precisely. It's a solution born out of deep integrity and, frankly, political ingenuity.
Okay, but let's push on that a bit, like the critique suggested we should. He's still the guy in charge day to day, right? He's making the laws, commanding the army, spending the money. Even if the sandals are sitting there, isn't he effectively the king? How real is the separation between the symbol and the actual practice of power?
That's the absolute key question, isn't it? And it takes us from the symbolic act to the real substance of his rule over the next 14 years. The separation holds because of how he wields that practical power.
It's not just about the sandals being there, but what they mean for his actions.
Exactly. Those sandals on the throne aren't just decoration. They're a constant, visible reminder to him and to everyone else of the source of his temporary authority. They act as a constraint.
How so?
Every single decision he has to make, from appointing officials to setting taxes to judging legal cases, is implicitly measured against a standard. What would Rama do? He's ruling not according to his own will or ambition, but as a steward, bound by the known principles and character of the absent king.
He's governing based on someone else's conscience, almost.
That's a great way to put it. He's acting as a temporary custodian, never as the owner. His power is borrowed, and he behaves accordingly.
Which brings us to maybe the hardest part of the story. The part that's easy to gloss over after the drama of the refusal and the sandals.
Right. The sheer endurance required. That sustained, long-term commitment.
14 years. That's a very long time.
It's one thing to make a grand, heroic gesture of refusal in a moment of crisis. That's dramatic, admirable. But maintaining that refusal, living out its implications day after day after day for 14 years while holding the reins of absolute power, that's a different level of character altogether.
This is where we really see the definition of servant leadership taking shape.
Absolutely. The sources emphasize this period wasn't just about ruling for Rama, but ruling like Rama might expect and living with incredible self-denial himself.
So he didn't just put the sandals on the throne and then move into the royal suite.
Far from it. He refused all the personal comforts and privileges that came with being the de facto ruler. He ruled in Rama's name, as a caretaker, but he also mirrored Rama's exiled state in his own lifestyle.
What did that look like?
He refused to live in the main royal palace complex. Instead, he reportedly set up a simple dwelling, maybe even a hut, outside the city proper, near Nandigram. He lived austerely.
Like Rama in the forest.
Exactly. Simple clothes, simple food. He denied himself the luxuries and trappings of royalty, even though he was running the kingdom that provided them. He essentially imposed an internal exile on himself, right there at the seat of power.
So he holds all the keys, army, treasury, administration, but lives like the kingdom's most dedicated, humble servant. Let's try to imagine that practically. He has to make tough calls, right?
Of course. Running a kingdom isn't easy. Disputes arise, resources need allocating, external threats might emerge.
So say a complex legal case comes before him. How does he judge it with the sandals on the throne?
He can't rule based on what's politically convenient for him or what might consolidate his own position. He has to genuinely ask, based on Rama's known commitment to justice and dharma, what would be the righteous ruling here? The sandals enforce that external principle benchmark.
What about, say, managing the kingdom's wealth? A prosperous kingdom like Ayodhya must have had significant revenues.
Right. He could have easily started lavish building projects, monuments to his own successful regency, maybe subtly enrich his own faction or family. We see that happen all the time with temporary leaders, don't we?
Trying to leave their mark.
But the sources suggest Bharat did none of that. His focus would likely have been on maintaining stability, ensuring the welfare of the people, and carefully stewarding the kingdom's resources, always with the expectation of Rama's imminent return.
So every policy, every expenditure is viewed through the lens of, is this consistent with Rama's principles, and can I hand this back over to him seamlessly when he returns?
Precisely. No grand, self-aggrandizing schemes that would be hard to justify or reverse. His goal wasn't to build his own legacy, but to preserve Rama's rightful inheritance and the integrity of the kingdom. Institutional continuity over personal ambition.
That's an incredible display of humility fused with responsibility. Most people, given that kind of temporary power, find ways to make it permanent, or at least leave their fingerprints all over it.
Bharat seems to have actively worked to ensure the only legacy being built was the expectation of Rama's rightful return. He chose accountability over entitlement.
He understood power as a trust, a stewardship, not a prize to be owned. Even with functional control, he imposed this profound moral limit on himself.
A limit far stronger than any external law could have.
Okay, so let's bring this ancient, powerful story forward. We take this example of profound, sustained integrity, the prince who refused the crown and then lived like a hermit while ruling, and we drop it into our world. 2025.
Oh, the relevance is huge, especially I think in our current culture, which often seems obsessed with getting ahead, climbing the ladder at any cost, measuring success by title and position.
Bharat offers a completely different model.
A radical countervision. It challenges the whole idea that leadership is about acquiring power for yourself.
Which leads us back to that first lesson, but maybe we can see it more deeply now. True leadership is service. It's fundamentally about serving something larger than your own ego or ambition.
Whether that something larger is a company's mission, the well-being of your team, the integrity of a scientific discovery, or the principles of justice in society.
And thinking about Bharat, we have to confront all the ways we might rationalize not taking his path, the justifications we use.
Exactly. He faced the ancient equivalent of all our modern excuses. He could easily have said, look, Ayodhya needs stability above all else right now. If I don't step up and rule properly, there could be chaos, civil war maybe. Innocent people will suffer. So my accepting the throne, even though the situation is messy, is actually the responsible thing to do, a necessary evil for the greater good.
That sounds very familiar, the stability argument.
Or the classic, I can fix it from the inside. He could have thought, okay, mom did a terrible thing, but now that I am king, I can use this power for good. I can implement all of Rama's virtuous ideas. I can rule justly. Maybe I can even do more good as king than I could as just Bharat.
Using the ill-gotten gains for noble ends.
Right. And Bharat rejects all of it. All those paths of convenience, pragmatism, potential positive outcomes. He seemed to understand intuitively that a moral compromise at the very foundation of how the power was obtained cannot be papered over by good intentions later.
The source has to be clean.
The foundational integrity is paramount. You can't build a just house on unjust foundations. He chose principle, however difficult, over political expediency or rationalization.
Okay, lesson 2. We touched on ethical loyalty with his mother. How does that broaden out?
It extends beyond just family. Think about loyalty in any organization today, a company, a political party, even a research lab. Bharat's example suggests that true loyalty isn't blind obedience. It's not about covering up wrongdoing to protect the group or your boss.
It means your primary loyalty is to the shared ethical principles.
Yes. If you see something wrong, unethical practices, data being manipulated, someone being treated unjustly, especially if that action somehow benefits you or clears your path, the Bharat standard demands you speak up. You refuse the benefit. Loyalty has to be anchored in shared morality, not just shared membership or convenience. Silence isn't loyalty. It can be complicity.
Which is a tough standard in many environments.
Incredibly tough. And that leads to the third lesson, which feels perhaps the most countercultural today. The power of stepping aside.
In an era that seems to value visibility, control, being in charge, stepping aside seems like failure.
But Bharat shows it can be the ultimate act of leadership, recognizing that legitimate authority, or maybe the best way forward, lies elsewhere, and then having the integrity to act as a custodian, a supporter, a steward, rather than demanding to be the master.
He was willing to take on all the hard work, the responsibility, the burden of governing.
Without taking any of the perks. No title, no glory, no personal enrichment, no palace living. He proved that you can completely decouple responsibility and accountability from entitlement and privilege.
He fundamentally reframed the question. It wasn't what's in it for me or how can I secure my position. It was
What is right? What does justice demand? What serves the true king and the kingdom best? He was willing to be the manager, the administrator, the placeholder, anything but the king, because that wasn't his rightful place. That humility, that willingness to not be the one on top, is a profound challenge to how we often think about career progression and success.
he gave up the kingdom, technically, but gained something else.
He gained immense moral authority, a legacy of integrity that far outshines any crown. He mastered his own ambition before he governed a kingdom.
It's an incredible narrative. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've looked closely at Hart's initial dramatic choice, that fiery refusal, the confrontation, the brilliant symbolism of the sandals. That's the high point.
That's the moment everyone remembers.
Ah.
But building on what we discussed about those 14 years, I want to leave you, our listeners, with a final thought to maybe chew on.
Okay.
We rightly celebrate that initial moral heroism. It's inspiring. The refusal, the journey to the forest, placing the sandals on the throne, high drama, clear choices.
Absolutely.
But now, really consider the day-to-day reality of this stewardship, that 14-year stretch. Imagine waking up every single morning in that simple hut outside the city, putting on plain clothes, walking into the grand royal halls, knowing you command armies, control vast wealth, hold the power of life and death.
And consciously choosing, again, not to indulge, not to take the comfort, not to claim the title.
Exactly. Being constantly reminded every single day of the power you could claim, the luxury you could enjoy, the legacy you could build for yourself, and actively, repeatedly refusing it for 5,110 days, give or take.
That quiet, grinding, unglamorous marathon of ethical constraint, week after week, year after year, how does that sustain long-term integrity compared to the initial, maybe more visible, heroic stand?
Which requires the deeper strength, the more resilient character, the explosive moment of defiance, or the quiet, decades-long commitment to living by that defiance.
It's a fascinating question, something to really think about next time any of us face a choice that demands not just one moment of doing the right thing, but maybe a sustained period or even a lifetime of quiet adherence to principle when convenience or self-interest beckon.
Keep looking for those timeless truths, even in ancient stories, and remember the power, the profound leadership shown by the servant who refused to be king.
We'll catch you next time for the next deep dive.